Hey, I'm Sam from Wolf and Wing, and I've had a couple of really amazing magic chats recently with special guests that have got me pondering all of the things, and I wanted to go a little bit deeper into some of my experiences and my take on those. So I had a chat today with the gorgeous Aakriti Kundu about goddesses, and one of the things we were mentioning, and this came up a bit actually as well in my other magic chat with Alex Bailey, we're talking about the long dark night of the soul, or the long dark 5 years of the soul. And for me, I've had a few of those. My most recent one was kind of a long 3 years, and it was when my son was a baby, and he's amazing and I love him. I'm just gonna put that out there first. But my mental health was not great, and one of the things that's really interesting are all of the tools that I had under my belt at that point, all of the transformation, personal development, mental health tools that I had kind of helped keep me afloat, but that was it. And I had this feeling like I couldn't really dig deeper into them and use them in the way that I had previously. And I'm just realizing now how much that was because I was massively sleep deprived, and how much of an impact that had on my whole being. I had very little sleep for the first 3 years of Tris being around, and I'm filming this in my bed as I'm talking about sleep, and it's comfy and the light's quite nice in here. And I think it's really interesting how... So another magic chat that I've also had is with Brooke Packard of the Sleepy Time Club, and we've talked a lot about sleep. But I feel like it's only after you've had a period of sleep deprivation that you really realise how precious sleep is for our nervous systems and for our whole well-being. Like, to have a time where you switch off and heal. And I guess it's working on so many layers, isn't it? Because you've got kind of like subconscious things that are able to kind of ripple through. You get to regenerate actually physically in your cells. You're not responsible for anything or anyone. You might have to wake up for that, but in that moment, you're just... It's not like you're switched off either, is it? Because we're still alive. We're still very present when we're asleep, and there's still an awful lot going on. But it's that kind of state of recharging. And when I started to get more sleep was the point at which I started to recover, and I started to find new tools and things at that moment. As I started to, and it was interesting, the timing was interesting. I am definitely someone who finds spring and summer easier. It's one of the reasons why I've made this online course, A Year of Wild Wisdom, started with the hibernation as a kind of, as something that I needed to go through autumn and winter in a better way, because I find that time of year hard. So a couple of years ago, when my recovery really started again, because there's never just one, it was Ostara, it was Easter, it was spring, and I felt like I stepped through a portal as the light came. So Ostara is the spring equinox, isn't it? Yeah, so the days and nights hit that point of equal length again, and then started to tip over into more and more light. And that's kind of what happened to me as well. I came out of the dark, is what it felt like. And that was 2019. And I spent 2019 kind of coming out of this and finding my feet. I went through the spiral for the first time. And then 2020 happened. And it was, I tried so hard to keep my head above water, but I had a kind of physical health crash in 2020, which I am just getting over now. And I think my body needed to catch up. I've been doing all this kind of like energy work and mindset work, and even though the sleep had been better, I still wasn't nourishing myself enough for my system to really handle the work that I was doing. And I was also very much stuck in that kind of hamster wheel thing of not charging enough and needing to be productive all the time and not really giving myself a break. So it's like I came out of my long dark 3 years of the soul, got like a glimpse of what it could be like, and then kind of went back under the surface again. And then over the last few months I've been finding my feet again and coming back out in a whole new way. I've kind of rewired my nervous system over the last few months, and it's been a really interesting process as I've connected more and more with animism, which is something that I don't even want to use the word belief for, because it's just how I see the world. It's kind of how I see and understand the world, and how I always have. I just didn't have a word for it, but I kind of found the word after lots of rooting around and pondering last year, and really feeling into the way that mind and body aren't separate, soul and matter are not separate for me, and that's whereas before I was maybe sort of doing a bit of a separation between those things. I was doing a lot of spiritual and energy work without paying attention to the body that those things are entwined with. So that's been the thing that's got me out of this long 40 years of the soul, even. My life has been these kind of like patterns of big rushes up and then crashes, and rushes up and crashes, and I can see how much of that, with the power of hindsight, was because I wasn't grounding myself and nurturing myself and seeing myself as a whole being. I was trying to pull away all the time from my body and from the physical world, and then feeling quite depressed by the physical world, because it wasn't this kind of magical place that I was kind of always chasing. But as I've kind of reconnected with my naturally animistic self, I can see and feel the magic that is everywhere. Even when my health was really bad and I was having to have lots of tests and stuff, and nothing came up on the scans or anything, it was all a bit mysterious. But I find hospitals quite stressful places to be, but I could feel the magic there as well, and in the people who were caring for me and trying to help me figure out what was wrong, which was really profound. I'm just licking, so I've chatted for about 10 minutes. And yeah, I guess that's what I wanted to say, really. was we never know. And I loved Aakriti's piece on this. I love how she schooled me about it's not about holding on. It's not about pushing through. It's kind of about giving in. And for me, that's about being, our ability to be with what is there and allow things, allow ourselves the things that we need, like rest and nourishment, and seeing where we've maybe been missing some of those things. And our way, our way out is always through, isn't it? It's not like you can turn around and push those things away or switch them off. I feel like that's sometimes what we want to do, isn't it? Is we want to switch things off. And actually, we never know how long that time of feeling in the dark is going to last. And yet there are still things that we can do to try and enable whatever needs to be felt, or whatever wants to come through us to come through. Maybe there's a message or a lesson that we really need to learn, or maybe we just haven't had enough sleep and so we can't learn anything because we're just like fried. So yeah, I absolutely loved that today, that message about fluidity and patience instead of pushing, and sleep, the importance of naps. I love it so much. So yeah, I'm really excited to do more of these chats and hang out with more amazing people and bring more magic and wisdom with you to share with you.